Started recording our sessions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you guys referred somebody, I think it was, to us.
And then recently too, I don't know if someone just contacted you. I just told someone like 2 days ago. Too.
Yeah, we had a consultation. I'm trying to think of who it was, but they mentioned you guys.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh yeah, I remember. I don't get very many
I told quite a few people, because especially when they were like, I gotta figure out this e-collar situation.
Sure.
Because they really noticed a huge difference in Toby. So.
Sure. Oh, you know, I think it was that lady with that collie, not the lassie with the dog.
Her name's
We saw a lot of people that day. I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. She works with me, so she saw the difference in that. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
How's everything been in the home and stuff?
It's been good. You know, I think we had our last session in like February.
Right.
And things were going really well at work for me. Like it was like huge differences at work. And then the COVID stuff, we did kind of like slack a little bit at home for a while. But like so many things, like leash is great and everything. We brought him in a lot of situations now, like camping with other dogs and stuff. He's been awesome.
Excellent.
The only thing that we really wanted to work on, Dan Sparky, is place. Was
sure.
really, it's just like, I was working on that at work, like we had talked about, where, he has the bed next to my desk, and, every time you walked away, I would tap, but we really want to work on that, because there's been some situations where we'd love to just be like, stay there for a while, calm down and stuff too, because especially when he's around other dogs.
Okay.
So, we're trying to practice it at home, like on the couch and stuff. We really wanted to practice it in like, just kind of in random places to be like, okay, right here for a while, stay here.
Okay.
I brought the longer leash too as well.
Okay. Did you bring anything to use for place?
No.
Did you park on Lincoln on Angle Street? Across the street from Dairy Queen. My car, just hit the beeper.
That's right. I might have a blanket.
I have a.
Okay.
I have a training placement.
Okay.
I would usually bring it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think anybody needs it today, but she'll grab it.
I thought I was gonna. I didn't know who like my contact Maria would be like, hey, I want to work on place or not. But,
Sure. Yeah, we started keeping stuff with us just in case that people forget.
Yeah.
So I have one, so it's not big deal.
Okay. Yeah, because we've done like, for example, we were camping and there's some other dogs, and he was doing really well for a while, but then he does that like he's possessive on like people and. And like other dogs and stuff, like other dogs come in and want attention, he wants the attention. So we really want to be like, just chill on this mat for a while, and calm down and kind of, but it was hard when he walks away. I'm like, wait, I'm too late and I didn't tap in, and so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an area that Dan was like really gonna work on place better. So.
Sure, yeah, and we'll review it, make sure you're applying it correctly, remembering correctly, and what we'll do as well is, because COVID kind of just came out of nowhere, right, is a lot of people were impacted, like our clients, like everybody's life is 180.
Yeah.
That, like, I had a few people within, like, the first 2 weeks of quarantine, like, shit just hit the fan.
Yeah.
And now they're going crap. So we had to, of course, adapt. So, like, we have what we call now social distance dog training.
Yeah.
It's all verbal instruction.
Stuff. That's cool.
Yeah. So we're picking back up again, which is why we started filming, because I knew I could train certain things with e-collar and not need to touch the dog.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know if the owner's going to be able to, right? So we had one client she had signed up just before the quarantine hit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, a month went by, and I was like, all right, we got to start figuring out something. And she was the first one. I was like, all right, well, we'll try it to see if it works.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then we'll just wait till after the pandemic, whatever. And it ended up working really well.
Yeah. Well,
so
this allows you to probably, if you explain things really well, so I feel like you can do it.
Yeah, with the explanation, and then the exercises are so simple. And I've done this for so long that I know the breakdown.
Yeah.
So everybody's been doing great with it, and it's actually been working out better, because now I'm not even attached to the dog in any sense.
Right.
Like, it's all related to the owner from the get-go.
Yeah, probably resources for them too.
Yeah. So they're getting everything from beginning to end. It's all them.
Yeah.
So it's getting a lot of great feedback, because they're like, yeah, I do all the work.
Yeah.
But it's effective is the main thing, because like we're here, and this isn't even as busy as Oz gets.
Yeah.
Oz gets really busy.
Really busy. Yeah.
And we'll have dogs. And they're just walking through, and they're like, this is crazy. Like, there's all this stuff going on, and my dog's like,
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's all because of
That's why I referred you, because then mostly people will tell me they're like, the person needs the training, you know, and needs to be like hands-on the whole time. And I was like, that's what I needed, you know, to be like, you forced me to practice it, you know, and do it. So yeah,
we've been slowly rebuilding, and it's not back to normal, but definitely much better than it was.
Yeah, sorry, it must have been hard for like your boarding and stuff too.
Yeah,
but,
it was.
Yeah.
Thankfully, our landlords were very understanding.
Yeah, that's good.
And they're working with us. I've seen places that they're just out of business now.
Yeah, within like, I mean, if you can't pay your rent for like a month or two, you know, it's like.
Yeah, and I was just like, I mean, I get it, but I'm kind of like, I get like the business aspect of it. I'm like, but if no one's making money, why are you still going to demand rent?
Right.
And then you're going to lose the tenant, but then the economy's down.
And then what do you
like?
I know, totally.
I'm like, why not just be patient?
Yeah.
Let them do what they can.
Yeah.
You know, and ensure you know, maybe ask for like, can you just pay this, which will cover the mortgage?
Yeah, totally. But like, instead of losing entire tenant, right?
Yeah. So I don't get it, but thankfully we didn't have that.
Okay. No, and this is good too. You can do stuff in person here.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that
Yeah, it's south of the Scarecrow statue on Nerby and Webster is where we're at right now.
The invite address tells you really far away.
Yeah,
so
that's why
you
put it on
the
the
there
thing.
And I was like, shit, I know this is not where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So.
No, we've been noting it for whatever reason. Like our stuff brings us here.
Yeah.
And everybody else brings them over there. So we started noting Larrabee.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that, because I would have been like, that's not Oscar. Let me get the. Yeah, things have. I mean, I am very happy with a lot of the changes. We've seen some really. And we got a lot of compliments on his ability, but there is definitely some things I've noticed that he still, you know, he, especially if it's like if it's a long period of time, or he starts getting like tired or something, he gets a little snippy still with other dogs, and possessive of the resource guarding stuff. It's so much better at home and stuff, but you know, with other dogs sometimes it's.
Yeah, so with other dogs, it gets a little bit more difficult in the sense that, like with the human, you can give them instructions, right? Whereas with the dog, they're just going to do what dogs do.
And like, I can't, you know, like we talked about before, like the pattern of what kind of dog is kind of weird, you know? Like it seems that like little pugs bother him, and then there's like a huge dog doesn't, and then some other, you know, random dog does, so it's
so when you see the snippiness, right, is it, it's like he's tired laying down by himself, and he doesn't want to be bothered, or it's like an object?
No, he like goes after, he'll go after either if the other dog is like playing with something, or it's a lot of times, like we notice with other people, the dog will go up to like some other person and be like, pet me, and then Toby will just run right in between them and be like, nope, you're petting me instead.
Oh, sure.
It's like a possessiveness of the person, almost, I think.
Sure. Does this happen at your work, or does this happen in the
Yeah, it's happened at work. I was able to work on that because it was the same people, same dog.
Sure.
But like recently we've been on 2 camping trips with other people and dogs. And at first he's like, everyone's like, wow, Toby's great. And then he starts, you know, getting kind of possessive of people. I don't know. So that's why we were like, maybe if we just put him in place, he would just like chill out for a while.
There's 2 aspects to it.
Yeah.
There's 2 aspects to it. And you use what's going to work best for the content. That's why it's going there, right?
What?
Did you have trouble finding parking, or did it take you to the 2021?
I just parked in Armand and walked over.
Oh, okay. So welcome back. Good to see you again. Good to see you being in good health.
Yeah.
So she's just filling me in on, I keep wanting to say Chop now.
Yeah.
We have a corgi that comes to our
really?
daycare, and his name's Chop, and he's a tricolor corgi. Yeah. So we have a placemat so we can review that, make sure that we're understanding that correctly, the application of it. And then I also told Catherine that you guys can have 2 complimentary Zoom sessions for like any just questions, random questions you may have about, are we applying this correctly, are we doing this correctly? Because COVID impacted a lot of people, so we added that into our programs. So we're just so you know, okay? And you can use them whenever you like.
Okay.
So where would you like to start?
Do you want me to use this one for this? So we walk away? What do you think?
Go ahead, and you can keep them on the short leash for now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have you show me just how you go about sending them, and then application in regards to, like you said, the camping trip and everything like that. Okay.
Toby, bye.
And what's his number?
33.
33.
We've been like increasing outside. I feel like a little bit more than at home. I can maybe use like 25 or something.
Sure. Go ahead and walk around him, but he's supposed to stay put. tap, 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 tap. Good. And then just keep moving around. Tap, 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 tap. Good. Tap. A little bit of pressure to guide them. Tap, tap. There you go. Tap, tap, tap. Good. And then walk around. Tap, 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 tap. Go ahead and bump it. Let's go to 38.
Okay.
Fine. Good. Go ahead and pet him. And you're going to walk away again, but you should stay put. Tap, 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 tap. There you go. That's better. There we go. Go ahead and keep walking around. Excellent. Go ahead and pause right there. So when you've applied it, are you having trouble with the not coming off the space part?
He'll get off really quickly.
Okay.
And I'm not sure sometimes too where the other thing I've noticed is that I'm trying to guide him to a certain place, and if I start tapping, he'll like run to the legs or something, or he'll run to my legs or something, and it's like, no, I need you. Like, how do I be like, this is the place,
right.
Not my legs, because he's used to being like, oh, if I come to you, it'll stop.
Correct. Because of recall. Right. Is he on leash at this point?
No.
No. So what I would do is go back to leash.
Okay.
Okay. So whenever we have a dog that gets confused between the options, the leash allows you to give that physical guidance, right? So like here, we're taking this some steps back. We're going to like real simple, go here. Mm-hmm. There was two things that I was looking for. One, that he stayed there even with you moving around. But two, when you started at 33, I could tell that you felt it, but it wasn't concerning enough.
Yeah.
Which is why he kept popping off.
Okay.
Then you went to 38, and there was a bit more umph in him going back to the placemat. But then also he did this.
Yeah.
Right? He laid down.
Yeah.
I don't care that he laid down, but he went into a more submissive position, which that tells me like, oh, he's less likely to want to press that rule of hopping off of the area itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is to start priming them for the extended time or duration on the plates. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you do this at home, if it's a first time using that object, you want to treat it like it's like he doesn't know to go there. So you have to use the leash to guide him, right?
Okay.
And then I go to like walking around him and stuff like that. Then I had you come in and pet him, and then walk away, and then he thought, oh sure, and then you try to walk away with you correct that, right? And you're just getting him used to, you're going to be there, I'm going to walk around a little bit, right? And of course you're not going to do this for 2 hours. You're just doing this for a little bit, just get him used to, you're not going to always be right next to him, okay? The next part is leaving your leash on. And like, let's say, so I remember your home, like you'd walk in and then the couch set up over here, and then there was like a bed over there for him, right? It's like, let's say you put him on place on the bed and you guys are going to watch your TV, and he's got his leash on, and then he goes to step off, and you tap him, but instead of stepping back on, maybe he tries to like run upstairs or something, right? Or go to you. Then I just keep tapping, and maybe he runs upstairs to keep tapping. I pursue him upstairs. He's sitting on the little ledge thing. Pick up the leash, start walking back down. I don't say place. I'm just tapping the whole time. And as you start to go downstairs, you might find him shoot ahead. I let the leash go, and maybe he runs the place. Because then he's tying together like, okay, like the reason for keeping that pressure on the entire time is to tell him that's not the correct answer. It's not the correct answer, right? So he's thinking, well, I got to do something about that, right? So if you did it at 33, chances are it's going to take you a long time to get that over with, because it's not that concerning. I'm looking for what I saw here, which was that I want to figure this out immediately. He's not yelping, he's not rolling around, but he's kind of like, this is concerning, right? When you get concerned, and then you start to guide a little bit, you start to see it click in the brain, oh, boom, and then he'll start to shoot off and go towards the place, and then maybe for like the next 45 minutes he doesn't move. Because now you've created concern about leaving the spot, because you kept the pressure on for so long, and it didn't resolve itself until he went back to the area. Does that make sense?
I think that's my issue's been like, how long do I keep just doing that to get it back in it? But that makes sense. Like if I just let the leash kind of flow and grab it back and try to bring it back to it.
You want him to try to figure it out as much as possible. Right? Because he has a concept, but now it's more so, don't leave there, right? And if it's too low, you're gonna find like what was happening earlier. Yes, right. So I want to play with that number, and you'll know when you get the right one, because right off the bat, once he goes there, he's going to be there for a period of time.
Right.
No issues.
Right.
Okay. Another thing that you can do is like we cheat the system at my facility because we have columns.
Yeah.
And then we have leashes wrapped around the column that tether the dog.
Yeah.
But they still have leash to be able to get off.
Struggling to like figure
You know?
it out. Yeah.
So like if we place the dog and we clip them, and we go to train another dog, they'll just want to follow, and then we'll just tap them. We won't even change anything, and they're limited on where they can go, and they'll hop back on purely through the remote and raising it, and then we go back to what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we don't even need to go back to the dog, right? So like if there's something in the home, like I think you had like a wooden table, right? Maybe if it's heavy enough, I just put the leash around the leg of the table, put the bed near it. So this way, if he tries to get off, you don't need him to touch him, and you have to make him figure it out with the remote though, right? So you might find some confusion. On occasion, the dog will wrap themselves. I'll stop, unwrap them, clip them, a little bit of pressure, and then try again next time, right? But what you're trying to do is eliminate yourself from the having to lead him all the way. Because if you take his leash and you're tapping him, and he's not trying to go there himself, and you walk him all the way, it becomes part of the fix.
Is the walking part too?
Yes.
Okay.
As he's relying on you to lead him all the way, right? So when we do the tether and we remove ourselves completely, the dog has to figure it out themselves through the pressure. So then later on when we remove the tether, if the dog starts to make a mistake and we remote them, we're not worried about are they going to shoot off. We know that they're going to go back onto the area itself.
Yeah.
Okay. But definitely leash on.
Okay.
I would revisit that.
I need to work on.
I keep the leash on because yes, the remote gives you off leash control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But he has to decipher the remote and what it means in that moment out of heel, recall, sit, release what you have, place command, and anything else that you may have taught with it. Right.
Yeah.
So to help him out, we limit options, which is what the tether does, or we use something like the leash to give us the ability to get the dog back. Because if he has no leash, then you're chasing him around the house.
Yeah.
Right? So I can always step on it, what have you. And then gradual pressure so that he goes himself. Okay?
Like at what point do you feel like is it where you stop using the leash? Is there
Depends
like a
on
sign that I would look for?
If you see him start to sneak off, well, one, you shouldn't even see sneaking off. Like it should be like, hey, it's been like 3 weeks and he's been on that area for 2 hours every day. He doesn't budge, and we've had, we have food drop, we have things moving around. I'm vacuuming and he just doesn't budge. Right? Anything that he's a sucker for, either like he doesn't like or just like he wants it really bad. And I use those.
Okay.
Right? So that's one aspect of it, is if he really respects the command, and I don't even want to see like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let's say you pull out a toy of his that you really like.
Steps up and ready
exactly.
For it.
What's that?
Yeah.
What I'm looking for is like if he goes to place and I bring out his favorite thing, he's more worried about this than he is about wanting to engage with the toy.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that tells me, okay, you really respect that command.
No,
but of course, we want to see that several times.
That's so true. I think he just doesn't respect it.
Like that's why so when you went from 33 to 38, just that 5-level difference, I saw him shoot his little hiney there.
Yeah.
And then he laid down right away. Like, okay, I'm here. Right?
Yeah. No,
and like the way he looks, like his little face, he's got like a little pouty face, So that's another part of it. Is kind of like, this is obedience, but it's very simple for dogs to take seriously right off the bat, simply through power.
Yeah.
Okay? So if my mom said, go to your room, or you'll whoop your ass. All right, Mom, like, I'm gonna go to my room. It's kind of that same kind of concept here. Or I'm not worried about him enjoying himself on place. I'm worried about him respecting the command of place itself.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you to what you're wanting to that thing.
Yeah.
Okay? Questions about that?
No, that makes sense. I think we I'm trying to use it in such random places. Like how should I expect him to just know, like, oh, here's a new place that you've never seen before, and I want you to respect it for an hour. That doesn't work.
Correct. Now, it is possible to make that happen.
That someday, yeah.
But the new object, because place is place, right? What changes is the object and the location.
Yeah.
But the familiarity of I go onto this object and pressure stops is what makes it very easy to just transfer the things.
Yeah,
so you can't do that, okay? But you would have to beat them on the first few tries. That's what's not going to transfer immediately.
Yeah.
he's not going to recognize this elevated mat and a flat towel on the ground as both being in place. So in the beginning, yes, you might have to guide him all the way, but after a few reps, he's going to just go, oh, I know this already. This is the area thing, right?
Yeah.
And then the respect factor will already be there as long as the number is the correct number.
Okay.
So like, let's say leash walking and the heel exercise. A common thing that a lot of people struggle with is they're like, Jesse, the dog heels like at the park where we train and in the neighborhood, perfect. But when we go hiking, the dogs are jerking.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll go, that's normal. Dog knows exercise, but your number isn't high enough to make them respect it in the new environment. Because now they're like new scents, new sights, new things, right? Yeah. But you can always make it happen through power. Okay, so I don't care if I've only trained the dog in this area. If I go to a new park, I'm expecting, they're going to try a little bit. Yeah. But as soon as I hit that right number, they're going to go, oh, same rules apply here. Yeah. Right? And then as they get used to it, your number goes down in that setting. Okay? So if you ever see them struggling with respecting a command, that it's been a while too. It's been what, like 6 months of you guys working with him? Yep. He's got very good concept. You just need to play with your number now. Yeah. When you do the sends to place, are you still walking him, or do you have him go there from like a distance at all?
I've always like tried to guide him to a spot.
Okay. Yeah. So let's try this as well. Yeah. You're gonna go to tell him break. I'm going to have you walk back that way and then come back around, and I'm going to have you stop about 4 feet of the placemat. Okay? So once you present him, you're just going to say the word place, and you're going to start tapping. You're not going to move. Okay? We're going to see what he does. If I tap and he shoots straight there without me having to move, good concept. Okay? The reason why I'm doing that is to start getting you used to not guiding him, right? Because the guiding aspect is actually what keeps them in that realm of like leading the training wheels, where it's kind of like, just go. Okay? Break.
Okay. Break.
Good, about right there. Right? There it is. Very good. So did you have to tap there at all?
Just one.
Just one?
Yeah.
Good, right? So I liked how easy that was for us, okay?
Yeah.
What we're going to try here, same thing, but I'm going to have you try it about 6 feet back.
Okay.
Okay?
Break.
Very good. Yeah, so he's got a good concept. I think what you guys were just struggling with was the number.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
And if you put some power behind the send, that may also address the preemptive braking. Okay? Because you're establishing it right off the bat of like, hey, this is a serious thing. Like, go there and don't move from it. Okay?
Yeah.
So, application, right? Because you said you went camping, and then I guess when people were petting dogs, you wanted to be in the midst of it.
Wants to go in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's say you guys are camping. I show up, and I'm petting a dog, and he decides to come running over. He squeezes in between me and the dog to get attention.
Yep.
Does he become defensive then?
He tries to he'll growl at the other dog to like go away, and then that's what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. Defensive really, but
yes. So the defensive, or it would
he's being a bully in my mind.
Yeah. No, he is, right?
Yeah.
So the way you have two options to address that is technically you do have the placement. Okay. It's a preventative measure. If he's really respecting that, and the person shows up, that dog's or whatever, and he's like, nope, I'm just going to stay here, I'm going to mind my business, right? I wouldn't expect that just because he raised the number. Okay? So, like, I would use a tree, tether, put the bed right next to it, place him, because when people come in, you also have to account for the fact they're probably going to be like, hey,
oh yeah,
and doing all this, right? So that's going to cause a shift, especially if he's been in a resting state, that all of a sudden energy kicks in and the dogs just go, right? So then that happens, and I'm on the remote and I'm tapping, whatever, I might have to bump it, and he might yip, and he jumps into place, and he's sitting there, maybe he's shaking.
Yeah.
Good. Means you took it serious, okay? And then as people keep coming into that context, you might start to see him, when he sees him come in, he'll actually do this and kind of turn around and be on the placemat but put his back to everybody.
Oh, okay.
The reason for that is he's trying to understand what happened. Yeah. He got corrected because he preemptively broke off his place to go break into that situation, right? And then you corrected it to replace him. So then when he sees the context happen again, he's thinking that context is what triggered the remote, when it's not. It was his behavior. Yeah. So what dogs will do is they'll turn their back, or you'll see them shift in discomfort because they're anticipating, I'm going to get remoted. Okay. But he would only get remoted if he broke off. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So when he turns his back, that's his way of handling the situation. We don't do anything. It's okay. Okay. What I want is you don't leave the area. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And eventually, if that keeps repeating itself and you keep seeing people come in and greet dogs, he goes, oh, it's not them coming in and petting the dogs. It's when I step off of this that happened. Yeah. Okay. Now the problem you're going to have here is you're not teaching them to not bully. Okay. You're just teaching them not to break plays when there's a really big distraction. Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't make it wrong, but I just wanted to clarify that for you. Yeah. So then the next approach, so we have prevention, control, then we have intervention. Okay. Intervention would be if maybe I would err on the side of caution, I'd have him with the long leash dragging. And let's say someone approaches and you see Toby notice and he's about to go. You want a remote there, and I ideally don't say anything. Yeah. But I would right there, 38. Okay. And let's say I do the 38, but then he books it. Yeah. And he's like, I'm going. Yeah. Then I gotta crank it up, and I keep remoting until he goes, ah! Yeah. And then he turns around in 180s. Yeah. Okay. Now the reason I have the long line is because if I'm thinking, well, what if I have to go to 127? Yeah. And remote him, I don't want to spook him away. Yeah. That I have something to step up. Yeah. Right. But what you're doing is he's thinking about, hey, I want some of that action too, and you're trying to knock that thought out. Okay. So when you knock the thought out, then he's free, and you'll see someone come in and he'll look at them and the petting dogs. He's like, that's none of my business, and he'll just mind his own. Okay. Because you've corrected the thought. Yeah. That's intervention. That's the actual behavior work. Yeah. Okay. So there's no right or wrong here. It's going to be what's going to work best at that particular time or that particular moment. Yeah. Okay. So like a real common thing is dogs barking out the window, and the owner will say like, Jesse, I call the dog, and the dog comes, but then they go right back to barking out the window. I'm like, yeah, because you've called them, they performed, and they're like, well, what else do you want me to do? I'm going to go bark out this window. Yeah, right? So it's very similar to that context. Yeah. So, like I said, there's no right or wrong. It's what's going to work best. Okay. If you're trying to get Toby into a, not everything involves you type of mindset, you want to go with the ladder of intervention. Okay. And you could even where like maybe he's next to you and you like step on the leash because you see it about to happen as precaution, and then you want him to try to lunge. And I start popping him right there, right? Yeah. He might come to you because he felt the tension, and the tension leads to you. Yeah. But I ignore him. I don't praise him or anything like that, because then he's going to think the pop was because he was supposed to come to you, right? I ignore him, and then he goes off and he's like, what was that for? He's like, I came to you, but I didn't get praised. But I got remoted for something, and then that dog or that person pet that dog or whatever, and he has to learn to decipher exactly what it is, and that's where repetition comes into play, right? So then you could purposely tell your friends like, hey, like just pet the dog. Yeah. So then he's learning, oh, like okay, like dogs can be pet, and I don't have to be a part of it. Yeah. And that's how you start to get Toby to not care, and more so in a coexistence.
So Tapering looks like he's about to go.
Yeah, any interest. Okay. Like even like let's say he's over here and he hears them talking and he's like, what's going on?
Yeah. Boom. Yeah.
And you're like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Don't be a nosy neighbor. Okay?
He also, when we were camping, we have like, let's say 6 water bowls around. There's 3-4 dogs or something. And if the dog would go to, one dog would go to water bowl, he'd like boom in front and just start barking or snapping at them. Sure. Even though there's like 6 water bowls and multiple, it was like stuff like that too, where I wanted to be like, I don't know if I should tap it when he's going straight for that interaction, because it wasn't, I don't know what it was, just like that's my water bowl, even though there's a bunch of other ones.
Right. So he doesn't think in that sense. Yeah. Like, like there's plenty of water for everybody. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And if it runs out, there's more where it came from. Yeah. He's primal, right? So he's kind of like, this is a resource and this is the only place where there is, so I'm going to protect it. Yeah. You have a couple of options. Getting him to coexist and drink water from the same spot as other dogs is difficult. Yeah. Okay. What I do is I eliminate those water bowls to him as an option. Okay. So like even if he tries to drink water from there, I correct him.
Okay.
Right? So then he's like, oh shit, like I have nothing to do with those water bowls.
Okay.
Right? So then if you remove him in terms of interest, you technically shouldn't see him possess it against other dogs.
Okay.
Not even he has access to it.
Yeah.
Right? He gets his own from you.
Okay. So I have to like, this is now.
Yeah, like you have your own water bottle that you bring out for him.
Okay.
You know, and then you put it away.
Okay.
Okay. Trying to teach the concept of sharing. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
But it's very nuanced. And almost always people can't read, they don't read behavior as well as I do.
Yeah.
Or they get too relaxed and they're like, oh, the dogs learned the concept of sharing.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, they learn the concept of sharing because you made them.
Yeah.
Right? And the moment they see a moment of like, oh, you're not paying attention, all of a sudden their resource starting again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would eliminate, so like when I get dogs that resource guard balls at the dog park.
Yeah.
The owner will say like, the dog plays no problem, but as soon as there's a ball, it's a dog fight.
Yeah.
Now tell them, then don't let your dog have any access to any
I
toys.
see it that way, yeah.
Right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So anything in that context, because you want to be able to relax too.
Yeah, that's what we were like, we want to bring him and like feel like you're not like worried he's gonna go snapping at another dog with a water bowl, and it's like he's calm for an hour and all of a sudden it's like right away,
Right. So any toys, any water bowls, all that stuff, just make it off limits.
Okay.
So
and put power behind it.
Exactly, put power behind it. And don't feel bad about like, oh, we took Toby to go enjoy camping, but he couldn't enjoy it because he couldn't even like play with the toys and stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like if he's not able to doing that, he's still there with you.
Yeah.
He's not stuck, at home or anything like that. He's still with you. And you have both applications, right? And I look at it as if you're going to be preoccupied, right? Or if you're drinking and have a couple of beers, something like that, is now you have a variable in play that you're not going to be as mindful.
Yeah.
That's why I opt for more strict things like this, right?
Yeah.
But if I know like I'm not gonna drink and I'm gonna be like just hanging out with the dogs and stuff, and I can be more observant, then I go to the okay, you're free, because now I'm paying attention. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
So like the tight, strict control is when you're not gonna be as mindful.
Yeah.
To make it easier for you, and then when you are, you can be a bit more lenient and give them that loose freedom.
Yeah.
That coexistence that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah. And I was like hoping that maybe strictness would make him like relax too, because we've noticed in camping like the second day he gets really like cranky, and it's because I think he's just like so alert the first day, just like grabbing other dog stuff or barking. I'm not sure if like I can make him like relax or something for a little bit.
You absolutely can.
Like
it's just
he usually sleeps at home, right? But if we're camping, he's like awake and tired.
So like let's say the second day. What does the day look like? You get up, right, and he goes potty, and then everybody gets up and their dogs are out. And what do you feel like making him go into that like overstimulated state?
There's other dogs, there's people, like there's so many, like there's other stuff going on. There's other campsites, other dogs around, and I feel like he's like overstimulated.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, he like. And he doesn't really sleep well. He kind of sleeps in the tent, but I hear him kind of pacing in the tent and stuff, and I would love to be like, just calm down,
Is this overnight? Or
overnight, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
So it's like he's not sleeping or something, there's like some aspects to it where I'm like, maybe if I helped him like relax a little bit too.
Sure, give him some NyQuil. Okay, so the issue here is overstimulation.
Well, Benadryl or something.
It's overstimulation for sure.
Yeah.
What it is so many options.
Right.
And this is a very common thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So during the day, still on the leash.
Yeah.
Okay. Is whenever you see anything get his attention, just remote him.
Okay.
No words, just remote him.
Okay.
And what you're saying, so like let's say he sees dogs over there. You're going, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then he sees kids playing over there. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So every time you're popping on the collar, you're saying that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
But you're removing options.
Yeah.
Because what happens is he's overwhelmed with too many options, right? And then he gets so overwhelmed that it becomes frustration, and frustration has to come out somehow, either through bullying or through like the crankiness that you're noticing, okay? So once you start to remove all those options, you're probably going to see either what looks like a board, but it's not him bored, it's him finally going, oh, if those aren't options, then I can just relax, okay? And you get a more passive dog. That should help you with the nighttime stuff. Okay? If he's not settled at night, you're in the tent, correct? Zipped up?
Yeah.
You can, for a couple of nights, leave the remote on overnight. I would just move it to like the back of the neck where you don't use it ever. And as he's pacing, you just start to remote him and you gradually raise the number. At some point, you're probably going to get a yip, okay? And then he's going to sit down and probably pant and be kind of anxious, but he should be fine after that point. What you've done is capped him. His brain is still on over-stimulation mode, which is like if you do the day stuff, that should fix the nighttime stuff. But if it doesn't, this is the answer. So once you tell the brain to cut it out, it's like, you know, slap in the face. Is he just sits there, but it's got to come out somehow, which is the panting, and eventually he should just fall asleep. Okay. There's also a thing called a bonker, which is just a rolling towel, and I'll go over this with you in a Zoom video if you like, or I can send you. I'll send you an email. Actually, I have videos that I send people. And the bonker is simply a rolled towel with rubber band, and you whack the dog with it. Okay. So if he doesn't have his collar on, or if you don't want to leave it overnight, it's the physicality that we're trying to create. Okay. The only issue I can potentially see here with him is since you're physically correcting him yourself, that you might get some return, right? Because he's like, well, who are you to correct me? The e-collar makes it neutral. He doesn't know where it's coming from, right? So then people get concerned, like, well, my dog's becoming aggressive. I'm like, no. I'm like, it's just the dog doesn't want to be corrected by you, right? So
you hitting him.
Exactly. So in the videos, you see it's how to make one, how to use one, and then you see a trainer actually using one, and he does it with a considerable amount of force, okay? But what you're doing is, like, I've actually seen this where I brought a dog into my home that was very anxious and kept pacing. And my pit, I wish I would have filmed this, like just very stoically and slowly walked over to my living room and like just positioned herself as the dog was walking around, and as it came by her, she just bit her, right? And the dog yipped and sat down, and my pit walked away, and then a couple minutes later, she laid down and fell asleep. Because my pit just said, cut it out. Dogs don't tolerate instability. So, but when you do this, the important thing is that when you do physical corrections, is that it's neutral. You're not like, no, whack, right? It's just, boom, and you're he's like, oh, crap, right? And then I go to sleep. And he's like, oh crap, right? And then maybe he tries to get up again, whack, right there, right? I'm not even letting him get a step into the cycle. Because once that anxiety cycle starts, it continues. Okay, so then you want to tap it right away. Nothing I've not seen before. It's definitely overstimulation stuff. But once you start to remove options and you're like, none of that stuff has to do with you, you should start seeing them to settle down. Okay? And I think all these things are the kind of complete picture of what you're needing to get him to just be able to relax. Okay? And then if you do that so many times, next thing you know, you show up with Toby and just chill. Okay? Questions about that?
I have some questions about timing, right? So we're talking about, reducing options in his mind, the water bowls and all those sorts of things. From what I'm gathering, you want to correct as you think the thoughts popping into his head.
Correct.
Right? Not when he's at the water bowl or when he's at the ball or the phone or whatever he wants, but like as you see it sort of click, it's like Toby being like, I want that thing, and you start to walk through it, right?
Correct.
But then I want to, I guess, contrast that with something we talked about earlier to make sure I understand right. So he's in place right now, right? And we talk about like what's the timing when you're correct. You said something earlier which was like I don't even want to see him get interested like when I pull out his favorite toy or whatnot.
Right.
So when is the right time to correct him there? Because I can see two things. One, I see the thought of him wanting to go for his favorite toy, but at the same time, he's doing what I asked him to, which is to be in place, right? So, do you remote him the moment he steps off the place, or the moment when you think, he sits up like this and he's like, I'm going to get off?
Correct. So that's a very good question. So
maybe the difference doesn't matter that much, but I'm curious.
You would still want to do the thought. You always want to do the earliest sign of interest, always, okay? Because that's always the easiest. If I have a dog that becomes reactive and is lunging and barking, people tend to wait for the lunge and bark to happen because they feel bad about remote, right? Or for them, like that's where they think it happens, right? But they're not seeing everything that happens prior. So like, let's say if the dog's at full reactivity, I might be at 80 before they stop. But it's just enough to stop it. It really doesn't teach anything because it's so high, right? But when we catch it earlier, like when the dog's ears perk up, I'm at 25 and the dog settles and we don't even get the explosion. But it's so low and it happens just as the dog's thinking about it. What we start to see is the next time they see a dog, they'll self-correct. because it's so early in the process that they won't even continue with the thought. Okay, so if Toby's on place, you bring out his favorite thing, and you see him just like perk his head up, right? People would wait for the posturing, really tempted to come off, and I would promote at the head. Now,
even though he's following the rules, right? So
correct. So
if I was in that position, I would get angry as hell. It's like, hey, I'm doing what you told me to. Okay, I get it. I get it.
And this makes it harder but easier at the same time. Okay. What you're going to get is confusion for sure. Okay, because now Toby has to decipher what the hell just happened and why. Right. So I pull out the object. I see the head turn. I remote. Toby now jumps off place. Right, because he was already doing something, so he's thinking, oh crap, maybe I'm not supposed to be on here anymore, right? Yeah. It's normal. If that happens, I continue with tapping, lead him back if I need to. Yeah. He hops back on, it stops, I go about what I was doing. And then 3 days later, I repeat that process. I bring out his favorite thing. He perks his head, I tap him. He pops off, but I tap him again, and he pops back on without me needing to help him. Better. Okay. Fast forward a couple of days. Again, perks his head up. I tap him. Instead of hopping off, he settles. Yeah. Okay.
That's the ideal.
So in order for him to decipher what the tap is for, you have to keep him in the context, and you have to keep repeating it. We see it all the time. So one real common thing is the dog is laying down, something happens, and the dog starts barking. Right? And the owner wants to correct the barking. But like when I correct the barking, the dog pops up. I'm like, yeah, because the dog gets into position. Yeah. So you have to keep the pressure on until they lay back down again. So the dog goes, oh, it wasn't me in the position, because when I broke out of position, I kept getting remoted, but when I went back position, it went away. Yeah. And you keep repeating that, and that's how they decipher, like, oh, tap doesn't mean get up. Tap means stop barking while I'm in down position, right? But it's expected that the dog's going to be confused and break off of position first, right? So when you do this, expect that. Have your leash ready, right? And then I would be lower on the collar because you're not wanting to, catch it too off guard, because then to make it too frantic. And then you adjust as needed, right? So you find that right number. And then as you start to seem correct, exactly. So like, let's try something here. Go ahead and break, Toby.
Break.
And your number's 38?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're gonna come back, and I'm gonna have you send him to place, but you're not gonna tap him. Okay?
Place. I feel like you were just going there himself.
Okay, so he did it already. So what I wanted to see here is if he would go onto place and just sit, right? And then I don't care that you sit, lay down, standing up. What I wanted to show you was tapping. We get him to lay down and relax. Okay, from the sitting position, because people would think like, well, why would I do that if the dog was there? And I'm going because I want to push for more relaxation. Yeah. I don't care about the position, I really don't. But let's say I send the dog to place and they're standing and they're very anxious. Yeah. Right. And I want them to relax. I can either wait them out and let the brain get so exhausted that eventually they just lay down, or I can force the relaxation by keeping them under pressure. And they'll hop off, they'll hop back on, they'll try to figure out what do I do, and eventually they hop on and then lay down, and then I take up the pressure. And now I've just taught the dog to go there and relax. Okay? So we're gonna try a couple of scents here, and if we get one where he doesn't lay down, I'm gonna coach you through it so that you get a visual of what that looks like. Okay? Break.
Break.
Yeah. And I have a video I can send you as well of me doing this with the dog, so you have a visual of it. Because it's hard to kind of see your dog get confused, and because people are like, is the dog going to get it? I'm like, yeah, you just have to work through the confusion, and eventually they'll give you the resting state. Okay, break. I'm going to try 3 more. Okay. Maybe we get lucky. Two more. Break.
Place.
Yeah, I'll probably have to send you that video. tap, 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 right?
So I kept tapping until you lay down.
Correct, but you saw how it created confusion.
Yeah.
Right, the tap forced him to jump off.
Yeah.
And you kept tapping, he jumped back on, but now he went into a resting state. So we got lucky at that, but that's fine.
Cool.
Right? So it's that exact same process, except something has his interest, or he's barking at something, whatever. So when you see that, if he's not tethered, be already ready to have to go like grab the leash or something.
Yeah.
Because he's almost, the first few he's gonna want to pop off.
Yeah.
But that's exactly how you go about it.
Okay.
And we do not repeat the command.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
That's my problem. So I need to like not make sure.
Yeah. Because we're so verbal.
Because I'm always just like, okay, come on, like as if he's gonna get it.
The other thing is, if we send Toby to place, like I wouldn't say sit or down.
Okay.
Right? Because I don't care if he does what he does technically.
Okay.
But let's say I send a dog to place, like I mentioned earlier with the anxious dog, and I want them to relax and lay down. I don't say down, I use pressure to get them to lay down. The difference here is if you say down, it's no longer place.
Oh, yeah.
It's down.
Yeah.
But he's on place, right?
Yeah.
So people will forget that detail
Yeah.
because place is lenient, and then later on they look at the dog and the dog's standing. And I'm like, you have to correct that because the dog's not on place, the dog's down, right? If I remote the dog into a down position, no word, it's not a down, it's a relax. Okay, that's the difference. So then later on, should the dog get up, I actually don't care as long as they're relaxed. Does that make sense? So there's little nuances to it.
Yeah.
And like, let's say, actually a really good example for you is at the camping setting, maybe you send Toby to place and he's just really just worked up.
Yeah.
That would be an opportunity for you to remote him into a relaxed state.
Yeah.
So when you put him all the way into this mental state, ideally you may not even see the other stuff because you already did the work at the start as opposed to waiting for it to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's no right or wrong.
Okay.
It's whatever's going to work best for the situation, or it might be everything working together for a bigger puzzle to get the result you're looking for. You know, like there's no set answer, but that's like essentially all the things that you would need to make that happen at the camping.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Other questions?
No.
How about yourself?
Can we talk about barking a little bit, I guess?
Sure.
So you mentioned earlier with the dog, that's, barking at the or something. You should have if you actually wanted to correct the barking, are you applying pressure when they're, I guess barking is easy to stop, right?
What's the context? Is it like out the window? Is it when someone knocks? Is it camping trip?
I mean, Catherine has this problem where anytime her phone rings, or she says the word
That ring for the door.
she starts barking.
Yeah. I think someone's here at the door.
Oh, sure.
It's like our, building.
Yeah. So you're at home then, right?
Yeah.
But it's not as if someone's knocking. Because if you remember our house, it's like you have to call to get up there. So it's
Correct.
like he's triggered off. One example is her phone call ringing.
Yeah, which
Sure.
has been bad when it's been like a work call.
Oh, for sure. So what you do here is you can use the bunker there, or you can use the remote as well. But if it's in the home, and you're trying to break away from the key collar from the home
Yeah,
for certain
you might
things.
not, like we don't put it on.
That's a lot of the problems.
Yeah.
She doesn't have it on, or we
It's
don't.
not wearing it in the middle of the day.
When Catherine gets a call.
Yeah. So like behavioral things in the home,
Yeah.
bunker is where
Yeah, I have them right now.
comes in.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And I always tell people make like 3 or 5 of them in
Yeah.
the beginning,
Okay.
because sometimes like you'll go to correct them and the dog will think it's a toy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
totally.
then what I tell them is you just keep going, cycling through them, and you keep whacking them. Eventually they're like, crap, this isn't fun, right? And I liken it to like when I got too old for spanking. I remember my mom tried to spank me and I started laughing because it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh really? And she just kept spanking me until eventually it hurt. And I was like, all right, shit, this isn't fun anymore, right? So it's like the same thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You go to throw it at him and he's like, it's a toy.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
you keep going, right? He's like, oh shit, this isn't it.
Yeah.
If it sounds like with your phone, you want to eliminate that. Because if you're on a work call, he's not going to decipher when you're on a work call and when he just barked because it's a good time to bark, right?
Yeah.
Is don't say anything, you can just correct them.
Okay.
Okay? The moment that first bark comes out, you're just whack.
Okay.
Very firm, right? And you keep doing that. So technically the cue is I hear phone ring, I bark, but now it's going to become I hear the phone ring, I don't do a damn thing because I'm going to get a very firm correction.
Yeah.
And he's going to stop that behavior. If you were to say, Toby, quiet, followed by the bonker, you would then always have to say Toby quiet.
Yeah.
Because he can technically bark until you give that cue. Okay. That's how dogs learn.
Yeah.
Okay? And you're wanting to learn, you don't bark, period.
Yeah.
Let's say barking at the front door. You like that. It's security, right? You wouldn't do that approach there because you don't want to eliminate it. That's where you do, I think you did like the body, the moving back and stuff, right? Now there's a precursor to it that communicates to them like, yeah, we want you barking, but now we need you to shut up, right? So whenever you hear them barking, I want you to think to yourself, do I want to eliminate this or do I want to control it? If you want to control it, you can use like quiet or no bark. And if you want to eliminate it, you simply just very firm correction, okay? Another way to get kind of speed through process is hop on the e-collar and max it out. Make the phone ring 15 minutes later. He barks, right off the first bark, I pop, 127. He's gonna run his little ass upstairs, right? And then next thing you know, the phone ring, he's just gonna shoot up, right?
And that's like, I don't want to correct him running upstairs, right? Just that
right,
not barking.
that's his thing, right?
Okay.
Eventually that goes away.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh crap, what happens if I don't run away? Nothing, right? So then he learns to settle and not run off because the pressure is so harsh, right?
Yeah.
The bonker will still most likely come into effect, but you're gonna get a very big head start on that process because of the severe correction.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I do this like with dogs that bark at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. The owner's like, Jesus, like, what can I do, right? Yeah. Because if you do, it's gonna take work if you do the bonker and stuff, right? Which is fine.
Which actually he has done too.
So middle of the night stuff, I'll just tell him like, there you would say quiet because, how do you say? Since it's middle of the night, if you want to have a cue in case you don't have the remote, right? But I'll tell them.
Be like quiet, you know?
Exactly, because they max out the collar. The dog barks at 3 o'clock in the morning. They say quiet. They pop them 3 times, and then they go back to sleep.
Yeah.
So the next time the dog tries it, they have quiet, but they don't need the remote. Okay. But definitely will give you a head start on that front.
Yeah.
And then I would still make bunkers just to have them, because like in 3 weeks or so, maybe he forgets, right? And then he gives a quick little yip. You would want to correct that. Yeah. Even if it's a tiny little yip, it's better than what it was. Yeah. If you let it go unaddressed, it might come back with the mark. Yeah. Okay? Other questions? How's his recall and stuff?
Recall's really good. I practice that a lot off leash in like parks and stuff. And I'm able to like call him upstairs and he'll come, when I'm just walking backwards.
Okay.
Yeah. That one's been really good.
Excellent.
Yeah. He feels pretty good. But I have a hard time with like, as soon as random, like I'm like walking and then I'm not paying as much attention maybe after 10 minutes.
Sure.
And he'll go try to pee.
Oh,
and I'm like not good at be like, oh shit, and then I'm like trying to, like I didn't tell you could break yet,
Right.
So that's where I think I just need to either maybe use more power or like, maybe.
Yeah, so if that happens, like I just keep walking and I'll just jack up the collar and remote. Like I don't even look at the number.
Yeah.
Because I know he's not going to die.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I jack it up and it's on 80 and he's like, oh, he comes running to me, sorry, and then walk off, and the next thing you know, he stops.
I need to be like stricter about it. So I feel like, oh no, he has to pee. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's just like marking it. It's fine.
Right. And then like if I know the dog really has to go,
then
like I will like stop, shortly thereafter, but I want to make sure it is on my terms because he will learn bad behavior.
Right, exactly.
And all these things they're smaller pieces to a bigger puzzle. Right? Like the over-stimulation and all those things, the resource guarding, territorial, all that stuff. When you're applying more discipline and you're very strict about how it is and there's no leniency, that's when dogs really go, oh, okay, cool. Like, this is my place and these are the rules. All right. So, excellent.
I mean, overall, though, like, huge improvement. I love this color so much, so.
Well, that's the one at our facility. He looks
like that one?
Right. Anything else?
I'm just glad we got together and breakfast. I think should I have the list of this?
Try it. Yep. Book number. Yep. bump it up. Fine. Tap. 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 Yep, you got it. Tap. 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 Keep where you're at. Tap. Pull him a little bit from scratching his neck. Tap. There you go. Tap. Tap. Right. So, I don't know if you know. So every time I said tap, that's when you would tap, right? But did you notice there were some times when there was some space?
Yeah.
Right? And then sometimes it was consistent. Tap. 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 Did you see why?
And I assume he was like sort of heading in the right direction.
So there was a couple of times.
Sort of thinking about.
Yeah, because he was kind of like lowering his front legs.
Yeah, I saw some of this, right?
Yeah.
So then I lay off pressure
Okay.
to see. You have to give the space between taps is to give the brain time to think.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I could see that he wasn't getting it, it was tap, 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 right? When he jumped off,
Yeah.
then he got back around and I was like, all right, space, and then saw pod, nope, continue with the pressure, and then eventually he got it. And it took us like maybe 45 seconds, right?
Okay.
So that's the process. You know, when people they see that when they start to stress out, they're like, hold on, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you quit, right?
Yeah. I probably done that.
And
I'm like, it's not gonna work.
the reason why I said not to bump it is because the movement already was showing concern.
Okay.
The movement of him popping off and circling around was saying like, I don't like this. How do I keep it off?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why there was no need for power.
I gotcha. If he was just like cool
Exactly.
and letting it happen, then yeah.
Exactly, or it feels like very lax about
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we had the movement, we had the concern, then it was just getting him to figure it out. Okay?
Yeah.
So when you see the brain going in the right direction, you give space.
Yeah.
I give him a couple seconds. Are you going to make the right decision? Nope. Pressure on again.
Okay.
Expect them to again be confused,
Yeah.
keep repeating, but that's exactly what I wanted him to do. Okay? And you see the panting now because of the stress of the discipline.
Yeah.
Because you were more strict.
Yeah.
Okay? So here, this isn't a down. This is a relax. This is exactly what you would do at the camping site when he's overstimulated. When you send him there, don't leave him in that state. I would say challenge yourself at Toby to get him to go into this state. He is stressed and panting. That's normal. Eventually, that becomes a relaxed state.
Because I noticed it during those training. He was starting to kind of like lay down. You know,
Once he understood what needs to be done, he got it.
Yeah.
And the more you do this, the faster he's going to start going to that conclusion. Right? So if you leave him there, overstimulated all the time, he may come down over like the course of hours being there, but it's going to take a long time for that turnaround. But here, it's on your command of go here and just chill out, dude. That next thing you know, you start sending him, and he just goes into relaxed state without you having to motivate him. Okay. Other questions? So anything you don't like, feel free to address it. Like when that dog walked by and you're like, should I tap? I was like, I didn't really care, but I was like, that's a learning moment for you and Toby. So why not? I always tell everybody, you pay for the food, you pay for the vet bill, you pay for the training, you pay for the e-collar, you pay for the camping trip and all that stuff. You're allowed to have rules with your dog. Okay?
No, I mean, the rules helps to make a better experience,
For sure. Get to enjoy yourselves and all that stuff.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't have to worry and stuff. At work, it made a huge difference. I stopped worrying about him,
Excellent.
So.
Excellent. Good job. That means you guys did the homework, okay?
Thank you for all your instructions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you would please send me an email to remind you to send you the video on. I'm sorry.
The
bonker, the bonker videos, and then sending a dog on the placemat because I'll forget maybe full day today. So, and I'll get those over to you. And then whenever you want, those Zoom sessions are there. You can set them up at your convenience, and they're not going to expire. Like that, so you get okay? Awesome.